I've got a friend. Oh, surprise! Did you know that? But, stupid. Prank. I do have a friend. Just so you know, I've got friends. Lots. I think I've got 4. Now, one of them I haven't seen in a while. In fact, there was a 10-year gap between us, and it was great. It was just like our own personal 10-up. The Australian equivalent of 7-Up that is not filmed or televised and only goes through 2 people's lives, and it's basically just a conversation that I'm putting this classy British accent over the top of to make it sound a little bit better than it actually was. Anyway, so we were sitting around, we were talking about our lives. He was very impressed, obviously, by the fact that I had become friendly to him. And so he was just, because the thing is, we both went to a creative school. Now, he took the safe option in life. And this is a warning to all ye who shall enter the road most travelled, because, yeah, okay, I respect the man a lot. He is a bureaucrat. He has a moral conscious Labour voter. So, even though he is in the bureaucracy, even though from top down they have systematically replaced all the decision makers, both on a state and federal level when it comes to town planning, with Liberal goons, and so obviously you are restricted in the scope of what you should not be approving, because that's what they want. Also was talking about, which is something that I discuss a lot, when there is a Liberal government that is in power, the very nature of academia, just like the ABC, they start replacing lecturers with lecturers that are just going to tell, town planners, for instance, you know what your job is? Just to be a rubber stamp. Anything that comes along, approved, right? That wasn't how he was taught. He was taught, hey, if there is going to be adverse effects, you can say no, but they're never taught that now in their degrees. And that is because of the Liberal government, like the video because I said it. And so, I was talking to him about that, and he was saying that he's doing all he can within that structure, but there will get a point where he will get to a certain level of bureaucracy, and if he wants to keep going up, he's just going to have to become a sociopath, more or less. And so this is the sad point. He was also saying that you pretty much just have to become a consultant now. This is Michael West's point that they are just privatising bureaucracy. This is from his own experience. He has seen it firsthand, that they listen to the consultants more than they listen to the bureaucrats. They will put pressure on the bureaucrats, but as soon as someone's private, they think, wow, he drives around in a Ford Fiesta. They will listen to that person. So he was thinking of starting up his own ethical consultancy firm. Just with renewables and stuff. Just an Adam band of fat cats. And so there was that. There was his option of just moving up in the bureaucracy, but he wasn't sure that he'd be able to do much as a consultant, and also very restricting. And then the other thing, obviously, is he wanted to become a musician and basically just become a musical-friendly Geordie. So those were the 3 things that he was looking at. I got him to map out his life. Now, like with everything in life, whatever you focus on, you are going to be better at it. So, in terms of being a family man, killing it. Long-term partner, happily married, kid, love their life. He spends 50% of his time with them. I mean, that seems really constraining to me, but look, that's because of my own childhood. He had a very happy family, so good for him. And so he likes that. He likes the fact that 50% of his time is consumed with his kids. Anyway, look, that was 50% of his life. Now the other 50% was divvied up between just little musical pursuits and doing his work. So, 40% of his life, he assumes, would be based on work, which is what I imagine most people at 9 to 5 would have, right? He reckons about 40% of his time is based on that, and then he has 10%, this little slither that he focuses on music. You know what I was saying to him? Look, you were able to move up the bureaucracy chain. You're like 10 years ahead of other people. There are people below him that are 15 years older than him that he is senior to now, right? So he has the talent to do it. But like with everything else in life, you only have a certain amount of hours in the day. This is where you come in. Because the whole time I know you were just sitting there going, yeah, but I'm not him. I'm just gonna look at something else to titillate me. Well, cool it there, Charlie. Sorry, I just spat on the camera there. And you didn't even need to know about that because it wasn't on the lens. I could have just got there. It was just so distracting. Is that a little camera in itself? It's also circular. So, this is where you come in. I want you to map out how much time you spend on everything. Because with me, it's very unhealthy in the other direction. 10% of my time with my family and friends, 90% of my time on work. And ideally, because I am a workaholic, I would just really like that to just be 100%. No offense to my friends and family and loved ones, but you're distracting me. And so, he, on the other hand, he likes that 50% there. So that is a huge chunk out of his life that people like me, who are extremely unbalanced and, just one of those people that would essentially like that guy that George Clooney movie was about. I can't even remember what it was. And Catherine Zeta-Jones was in it, and he was just sitting there just being this boss lawyer at the end, being like, I've done 7,000 cases in my life, I've won 6,900. But he was just this old man just in front of all of these, 1920 stock take things going like, beep, 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 beep. So, if that's the life you want. And when I saw that, I thought, cool. So, I'm up for that, but obviously other people aren't. But you are not going to get the same results in life, in work, if you are not doing as much work as me. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? So already, half of his life is taken out. If he is just spending 40% on work, and he is already up by 10 years, because of how talented he is in that field, imagine if he just divvied that other 10%, or maybe, this is just a crazy thought, I'm not suggesting that he does this, but he takes 10, 15, maybe even 20% away from his family life, just saying there's a possibility, and then you put that into your work. Well, can you imagine what a boss bureaucrat he would be in 10 years from now? Now, he's saying, I will get to that level anyway. That's true. But something that could have taken him 10 years would have taken him 5 years if he just put a few of those percentile into focusing into that region. I know that you probably are listening to this thinking this is all very fucking self-evident. But when do you actually sit there and map this out? Never. Just get a little pie chart of your life going. I just want you to look at how much time you're spending in each field, and are you happy with that much time being spent in it? Because these were the three options. Then we were able to map out the future that he had for himself, right? Because I was saying, look, I don't care which of these three options you choose. I just want you to spend at least 50% of your time focusing on one of those options and then killing the rest of them off. Because I think that in life, a lot of people just go through life with this delusion in the back of their head. Just like me with smoking, just like him with his music career, right? That if he spends 10% of his life on his music career, something will one day flourish. There'll be that 80s guy with the ponytail going, you're the new sound, yeah? Not going to happen. There is going to be some stoner druggo that has just been tripping on shrooms in their bedroom for 2 years straight and just going like, with a pedal, and they would have come up with 12 banger songs in that time. You are not going to compete with them if you're, taking your bloody kid out to Macca's or whatever Westie parents do, right? So, he is in the predicament here. Where it is, okay, you are in the position now where you have enough savings, you do have an investment property. I think that you could just cut back your income a lot, you could get your partner to go and get another job, and then you could start focusing on music 50% of your time. 50% of time you could start focusing on it. And look, because also, this is the downside of having kids, but also the upside. I think that the downside of having kids is that they do actually just distract you a lot, obviously. Fucking tykes. Or just give you love, whichever way you look at it. But I think the upside is that it also gives you this psychological pressure of, I have that mouth to feed. I think that if he went in to do that, he would get results because he is focused, he's old, so he has like other connections into it. Like for instance, his brother is a music professor. I'm Friendly Geordie, so I can give him a boost when I think that one of his songs is a banger or whatever. Like there is other advantages to being old, but you need to be able to focus those and take stock of what your advantages and disadvantages are. It's just much easier to do this when you see that you're spending your time on it. But all I'm saying is that him spending 10% of his time on music, pure distraction. It's the most risky outcome for him. But if he is committed to it, he will get results because that is just what happens when you put your time onto something. You get results in it. Next point was he could become a consultant. And I think that would be a combination of the two. It would be a little more creative than being a bureaucrat. It would be less creative than being a musician. It's a little less risky than being a lot more less risky than being a musician and more risky than being a bureaucrat. He could start up his own practice as a consultant. He's an ethical dude. I think he'll do it right. You can spend your 50% time on that. Or you could spend your 50% time on just being a bureaucrat and moving up the ranks. And, just sitting there and having meetings with Gladys Berejiklian and saying, yeah, sure, whatever you want. If you just want to spend, more money than we spent on the Great Wall of China on 16 kilometers of road and it just goes to your donors, that's fine. I've got no issues with that. Doesn't matter. The point is, any of those fields, I think because he has a good conscience, him just being there is better than someone else who doesn't have a good conscience out of any three of those fields. But he is doing himself and society a disservice by deluding himself into thinking, I'll just split my time in between these two endeavors. Okay, you might get some little selfish gain out of it, right? You might yourself. But in terms of society, in terms of your family, in terms of your wider impact, you just narrowing in on a couple of things and getting really good at it, that is how you have the biggest impact and you get the best financial rewards because other people don't. Most people, again, live in delusion. They have these little outs in their head, these little psychological things that they have to let off some steam of, this music thing might happen one day. Well, it's been 10 years. If it hasn't worked out now, you need to change something. It's the same thing with me, right? If I did not go out of university, just go on the dole, spend every single day just focusing on friendly Geordies, it would not have taken off. If I got a job in bureaucracy, I can guarantee you today I would still be a bureaucrat. But I put my time and energy into that. And it's the same with you. It's the same with you. I want you to just put as much time as possible into one pursuit. It's good for you, it's good for society. It's a win-win situation because most people don't have the discipline to do that. Most people don't have this, ability to sit there and say no, this is the pie chart that I currently have of my life is a bit of a fantasy. It's never going to work out like that. Now, the next point that I want to talk about when it comes to him is that he was saying after that, look, I have a 7 out of 10 life as it is, I'm happy with that. And see, this is the thing that's draining because if I said to him, okay, but let's just look at it this way. What if you were one of those chief bureaucrats? What if you were running your own consultancy firm? What if you were doing music, okay? So he said if I was a paid musician making the same amount of money, that would be a 10 out of 10 life to what he currently has. He was saying if he was a chief bureaucrat, that'd be an 8 out of 10 life. If he was a consultant, that'd be like a 9 out of 10 life. But do you see the difference? All of them would be an improvement in his life if he just focused his attention on one of those things, as opposed to splitting off the time. All of them would be an improvement. So why not go for it? This is the other thing. I think that a lot of people in life go for comfort. They aim for comfort. I'm just really lucky in that I was wired at a young age, I think, to enjoy discomfort in certain areas. In other areas, I'm a little bitch. But when it comes to pursuing my goals, I really am happy with the idea of just being very uncomfortable, very poor if I need to be, to just keep going and pursuing that. That feels comfortable to me. Having that bureaucrat job feels uncomfortable. But to other people, obviously, that is how they see comfort. But anyway, he kept using that word, and I want you to do this. Obviously, when you're doing your morning notes, and because that's the other thing, as always, when you write out your pie chart, I want you to say, I would be happier if I would be doing this, and then I just want you to write 3 pages as to why you are doing that. That's your homework. Write 3 pages as to why your life looks like that, and then I want you to look at the justifications that you're using and the words that you're using. But the word that he was using was comfort. He kept using the word comfort. So, that's how he's motivated in life, right? In the 6 human needs, one of them is comfort. The other one is uncomfort, or there's other words that he uses, but just for this sake, we'll just be using them. Comfort and uncomfort, and then there's obviously significance, connection, and then there's growth and contribution. But anyway, he uses certainty and uncertainty, right? But anyway, the thing is, the need that he is constantly looking for is certainty, comfort. But what if you change the word? All of a sudden you get a new meaning out of it because, yes, is he comfortable with his life at the moment? Who isn't comfortable with a 7 out of 10 life? That is the definition of a comfortable life. I suppose 5 out of 10, but 5 out of 10 I would imagine people would feel fairly unfulfilled because that's pretty much, that is a half life. But when I said to him, what about peace? Are you at peace with your current life? Change the definition. Now the difference is with me, I don't think I'm ever comfortable in my life. I'm constantly getting threats to being sued. I'm constantly having serious attacks launched at me. Day in, day out, there is just this constant argy-bargy and fight to my life. So I can't say that I'm comfortable, but I can say that I'm at peace. I feel at peace with what I'm doing. I am not regretting my life as it stands, and it's because I took the risks. And if you take the risks, you will be at peace. Because even if it doesn't work out, your life will just naturally go into another direction anyway, because you're focusing a lot of effort onto something, and as a result, you're acquiring new skills. So when it came to him, and he was saying, are you at peace with it? This is just another word for comfort, but it's just a more profound spiritual word for it. All of a sudden it clicked. No, I'm not at peace with my life at the moment. And then I was saying, where would you be at peace with your life? And then he was saying, music. I would be at peace with my life if I was pursuing music. Now that changes your priorities in life, doesn't it? I want you to think about that as well. I think it's actually just a really good way to look at things, because I think it's just an overarching feeling of comfort, which is just like, is your soul comfortable? That's really what peace is. Is your soul in comfort? Is your soul does your soul feel like it's being expressed? Sorry, it's getting really wanky now, but yes, that's the long and the short of that. The next point, after that, when he was looking at it, was I was saying to him that, like, you are comfortable now, but just how you're very impressed that I am doing what I love for a living. I've got employees. We're breaking governments. Like the people that are making his job worse and forcing him to make worse decisions for the community, we broke that government, right? We are putting serious pressure on them, and it's just a guy in his room with a camera and a couple of mates. That's the impact of focusing all of your attention into one thing, okay? So I was saying that to him. And I was saying that if you did what I did, you would have gotten the same results. You wanted to be a musician, so obviously it would have been different, but he still wanted to make, ethically conscious music. Especially because he's a town planner, so he's really into environment and organisation of society, and I dig that stuff because I really liked Turkmenistan, and so I was saying to him, what's going on there? How are you going to get to that stage? Because the thing is that, like, in that last 10 years, I have regrets in how I approached things getting to my goal. But the overarching feeling that I have over the last 10 years really is kind of just like, okay, I wish that I partied a little more. But when I look at the results of what I got out of it, dude, that was the price. So I really don't have any regrets for it. But when he was talking about his last 10 years, he was saying, yeah, there's regrets. I was living into this fantasy for the last 10 years that one day the music would work out. But it's not going to work out unless you put in the hours. And a huge sacrifice. It's a big sacrifice to do these things. But you can do it. It is definitely possible. But, and I will finish on this, something that really resonated with him was that, embarrassment weighs an ounce, and it definitely does. And I think that my entire career is filled with embarrassment. Very embarrassing moments. It's just the argy-bargy of getting up in front of people and making an ass of yourself. You're obviously going to feel embarrassment. I have those regrets. But just regrets in how I spent my time and how my life panned out, very few. And the other thing is, the line is, embarrassment weighs an ounce, regret weighs a ton. And that's usually the payoff, is that you get embarrassed and then you get the little weight. But if you don't do something, and that happened to me the other day, and it was just this feeling of, fuck, I'm going to feel that for the rest of my life. But at least I'm aware of it, so I'll have less of those regrets. Everybody's going to have regrets on their deathbed. The difference is the people that chased comfortability, they will have a lot of regret on their deathbed. So it's up to you. Do you want to, if you are one of those people that is, seeking comfort in life, just change the word in your head from I'm seeking comfort to I'm seeking peace. Anyway, like this video, give me more questions. Come on, like this video. That was pretty wise.